Well, hello everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Doing a video in the kitchen. You might recognize this. It's a different angle than I've ever used, but you know, I'm kind of just still getting used to this reality that I'm going to be here for a while, and just trying to find some different ways to use this house in some different spots. So thought I would do it in here today. Now it's okay for you to creep my background today. Some of you older folks will maybe recognize this old telephone from the 1970s hanging on the wall. They all came in yellow, or most of them did. It still works. Anyhow, I want to talk about raw food diet, exercise, and meditation for stress and anxiety today. I do videos every day. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button now, then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. Well, as you might know if you've watched some of my videos or seen me on social media, from some of the things I've mentioned, you know, back about the end of March, probably about, well anyhow, I had a ticket to go back to Costa Rica on April 4th. Well, my mother's health went downward about 10 days before that, and I wasn't able to go. Well, she was in the hospital briefly, and she's been in the nursing home since then, and they've been trying to do rehab on her, but my mom's 88. I know everybody has this, well, does she do this? How do you feed her like this? But listen, she's that age. She's very, very frail. She barely eats. She does this and that, but anyhow, so that's been, you know, I've seen that coming. So that wasn't this huge surprise. I'm not super, you know, it's something that has to be dealt with. It's just that time of life. But some of the consequences of the sins of my past have kind of reared their ugly heads and have come back to haunt me a little bit. You always have to pay that debt at some time. And yeah, I'm just kind of in relation to this, and on top of this, I'm feeling the effects and starting to think about this misspent, a lot of wasted time being a drunk. I wasted a lot of time. I'm not at the place that a 54-year-old man should be at this point in life right now. So I thought that this would be a good video today. This one's kind of been rattling around in my head, and I'd have a thought or two, and I'd like, okay, well, I don't really have a full video or a full expression of a thought on this. But then between a couple of different things, and then this morning, I thought this would be a good time to do the video and talk about it, because I've kind of put it together. You know, I hear everybody, okay, listen, up all the time I've had this channel, things have been hunky-dory. I live down in the tropics, this and that. You know, fine. I always knew, come on, I'm not a pessimist. I wasn't waiting for the shoe to drop, but things can't be great all the time. So now I get to deal with doing things and having some of the challenges, having some of this stress, having some of this anxiety. Now, first of all, I define all my terms in life my own way. So if I ever just, you know, I define things my own way, know that that's just what I do. Now, for me, I don't allow stress. Stress is something that I have learned over the last 6 years. I've just learned how to not have stress. Anxiety, that's a little bit different. Some people might not differentiate between stress and anxiety. I do. Anxiety is just something that gets into your head. It's kind of like trying to push a thought out of your head during meditation. It can just creep up, and the best you can do with that is just managing that. Well, you know, I've been thinking about things, and I haven't been sleeping as sound as I do. I've been waking up early, and I woke up about 4 o'clock this morning, couldn't go back to sleep. Got inside my own head, you know, thinking about this, thinking about that, what if, what blah, 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 and you know, just like, and I had the TV on in the background, just kind of booming, but eventually what I did was get up, and this was the final little piece, what I went and did this morning, that just was like, yeah, this all makes sense. This all makes sense, and I do still stick by a lot of the stuff I've told people, and I've always been a little unsure of that when I'm giving people, you know, advice on how to eat, how to do things, how to manage these type things when I don't deal with them. You know, when my life is good, you know, I'm sitting here in the tropic eating bananas, living on that estate on the mountain. So, you know, yeah, what do you know about that kind of stuff? So I do. So one thing that I'm finding through all of this, my mother has been, this began, shoot, we're on the, what, 3rd or 4th of May right now. So this began back around the, was it before my birthday? My birthday was the 24th of March, but let's say, no, it happened on that weekend. It happened around the 24th of March. So since the 24th of March, I've been dealing with this. My food, comfort food, stress eating, you know, all that kind of stuff. It makes no sense. I'm not going to say I don't get it. I don't get it because other people process things differently, but it's just like my mind tries to go into RoboCop mode, just like into a machine, and think like a computer, and what makes the most sense and what's going to help you in your situation, even though it may not feel that, you know, your instincts don't always lead you in the best directions, you know, like things are counterintuitive. I remember back in the day, you're stressed. Well, I'm smoking a cigarette to take out a little bit of the stress off. No, you're not. Just the physical effects of that cigarette, by definition, it increases your stress. Or, well, I drink to deal with this problem. Well, you just kind of black it out or mask the problem for a very short period of time. Then you feel like crap. You're still dealing with the same problem, but you're feeling like crap while you're doing it. So with the food, I guess the only thing that's been a little bit different for me is I've had to pay attention to make sure I'm eating enough food. But I'm doubling down on what I've told people before. When you're having issues in your life, and I know it's kind of like, you know, like say you had somebody in the hospital or you had somebody in the nursing home and you're moving around and you're busy too. I know that it just seems very natural, okay, just to kind of let and I'm not even talking about like doing really bad things, but to kind of let your diet go just a little bit, grab some fast food. And I'm not even talking about necessarily non-vegan, but you know what I mean, not the best choices, but the better choices you make, the better you're going to be able to deal with things, because your body is where it's supposed to be. Our body's in balance. You know, I think everything works together. When our food's not working together, that's one level of stress. Now the exercise. Why did I mention the exercise? That was the, like I say, the straw that broke the camel's back to do this video, because after I had laid in bed and I was like laying there, I wasn't ready to do my normal routine. I'm trying to break my morning routine of going and just, you know, I'll either get the newspaper and I'll get my simulated coffee. I'm quitting coffee again. I had been drinking coffee for a while, not a lot, but just a cup a day. So I'm quitting that. So I'll drink my simulated coffee. I get on the computer, read news for way too long, and I screw around for too many, you know, for that first part of the morning that I need to be more productive. So this morning I'm laying in bed, I get up, I don't want to get on the computer. I didn't really feel, I have a book I'm reading on meditation right now. I really wasn't settled enough to read it. I read the same page over about 3 times and I'm like, okay, this isn't sinking in. So I put my shoes on, put some shorts on, and I went down to the park. We have this beautiful park down here, and I had that aha moment. And it wasn't, okay, it was for exercise, but that's just my supplemental exercise. I'll still go to the gym today. Today's leg day. And I'll probably do some cardio and some abs in there. Now, this is some supplemental exercise, but it's more so just, I don't know why I haven't been doing this before. You guys know from, if you watch me way back when I was in Costa Rica, not on the mountain, I love to walk. And down there, walking was part of my day-to-day. And I like that idea of doing your fitness thing, whatever I'm doing, you know, the workouts, the yoga, everything else. And then the walking just be bonus, but I want it to be a serious bonus. I'm thinking like, okay, why don't you do this more often? Like get up every morning. It kind of solves 2 problems in one. Get out of the bed, put my shoes on, get some water, drink it, and out the door. Then I don't have that. You know, I'm not tempted to fall into that pattern. I don't have to fight like, okay, I really want the coffee instead of the substitute. And I don't, even if I have the substitute, sit down and waste so much time. I'm out, I'm doing something. Endorphins are going. When you get your endorphins going, the exercise, but even just walking, depending on what kind of shape you're in, even just walking is such great exercise. Any exercise, getting those endorphins and the dopamine. The dopamine is what you're going for. And when you're having issues, when you're going through a tough time, The dopamine, it's, you know, people tend to miss their workouts as well, or miss whatever their movement. Some people don't like workout and exercise, your movement. That's when you really need it the most, because increased dopamine counteracts depression, helps stop self-destructive behavior, including certain addictions, and lets you resist impulsive behavior. Impulsive behavior helps you to resist the comfort eating, helps you to do those things that are just going to compound the problem, because what's going to happen when you eat that food that you really don't want to eat? Your body's going to feel a little bit better. There's probably going to be some guilt that creeps in there. You're going to feel bad. Well, why did I do that? And that's just all going to add to it. There's a vodka bottle over there. I was thinking about that this morning and had to smile a little bit. If this had happened, if I'd have gone through all these different little things that are happening right now 7 years ago when I was still drinking, shit, I'd have been in that Smirnoff bottle this morning about 7 o'clock when I was getting restless in there. I used to do a lot of morning time drinking. There's a lot, you know, temporarily Smirnoff, sipping on Smirnoff in the morning can solve a lot of problems. But the point being with that food, that would only just make that problem that's this big that much bigger, because later on I'd feel bad. I'd have a hangover. I'd have guilt for having drank. I'd be like, you know, it would just be a nightmare. So it can be hard. I know, you know, when you're going through stuff, you want to get off that regular path. You want to eat the food. You want to eat food that's for convenience. You want to eat gooey, fatty. If you're even probably, during tough times, if you're ever challenged, you know, for things that aren't vegan, that could be when it is. But that's when you really need to be your most diligent to this, and to stick, you know, to just stick to your program, stick to how you're eating, keep up your regular workouts. If you're not already working out, if you're not somebody that exercises, if you're not somebody that wants to exercise, if you're not somebody that maybe is in the greatest shape, or you're older or whatever, walking, just Google walking. You'll find a gazillion articles on that, and walking will accomplish that. And you don't need anything. You know, you wake up, you're having a problem today, you're having a problem right now, you want to go to that refrigerator and eat something you shouldn't eat, go out the door. If you can just go, if there's somewhere to walk where you live, just walk out the door and walk. Or if there is a nice park like where I went this morning, go where there's some scenery and whatever. And the last little pillar on that is the meditation. I judge my meditation practice, although we shouldn't judge our meditation practice. I think this is okay, just to kind of use this term anyway. I judge my meditation practice by how it works for me, what it does for me when I'm not meditating. My meditation is only about 5% of me sitting there. Am I actually sitting doing the meditation? Whether it's a less distracted meditation one day, or a more distracted meditation one day. Maybe I completely get to enlightenment one day. It's still more so about what happens. I only meditate, you know, right now actually my meditation, I haven't been as able to focus. So it's been a bit down, but I meditate 15 to 20 minutes a day. So you've got another 23 hours and 40 minutes that you're not meditating. You know, that's what the meditation is for me anyways, to deal with things like that. And once again, not just the food, not just, well, I've exercised, even back when I was a drunk, I exercised, but the food different now, no alcohol, the meditation, but you know, I can stop things now. And the meditation is how I use in my day-to-day to fight anything stress, you know, close to stress. When I start seeing that coming on, you know, I just go to that place. I go to that place. I use techniques that I use. I don't necessarily have to go into, into meditation. I don't have to sit and meditate. It's just connecting with if it's either connecting with the breath and being aware of the breath. It's either connecting with the settling sound that I use to settle myself into meditation sometime. And mostly it's just an awareness, and you bring yourself back. And I feel like sometimes through this, I've become able to slow things down. In other words, you see things in slow motion, and you're able to think better and solve potential problems better. So yeah, if you've got anything going on in your life, even if you're just dealing with regular everyday, because some people deal with it every day. You know, you got a hectic life, hectic job, wife, kids, blah, blah, blah. So you can, you know, the better you're operating, the more efficiently the machine is running, the better the machine can deal with problems, can deal with situations. So anyhow, just my 2 cents about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.